Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you one of my favorite ways to preserve fresh culinary herbs. I don't know what the weather has been like where you guys live, but here in Southern Ontario, we have had one of the oddest falls that I think I can ever remember. The fact that it's October 25th and I'm able to film a video about preserving fresh culinary herbs is kind of unheard of. We've had really cold temperatures, but what's been nice, wow, kind of depressing, but nice for this project is that it's been pouring buckets. So it's been insulating the herbs. They haven't really experienced that killing frost yet. And I still have lots of sage, rosemary, thyme, and oregano still thriving in my garden. So that allows me to finally get to one of those projects that's been on my to-do list for a long time, and that's preserving them in olive oil for cooking in the wintertime. Now, of course, you can dry your culinary herbs, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's just something about the fresh flavors, especially of oregano, thyme, and rosemary, that, I mean, if there was a way to press pause and we could have fresh herbs year round for our garden, just nip outside and grab a bit of rosemary, that'd be wonderful. But living where I live, where it's a borderline zone 4, we get some pretty harsh winters, that's just not really possible unless I grow my culinary herbs inside. So what I like to do is find a way to kind of capture that flavor profile, and then I can use them in cooking. So for example, like one of our favorite potato dishes is a roasted rosemary, thyme, and garlic potato. And yes, I've done it with dried thyme and dried rosemary, but it just doesn't have the same flavor. So what you're going to need for this project are some clean ice cube trays. You're going to need culinary herbs of your choice. You can grow them yourself. You can buy them from the grocery store. You can get them from the farmer's market. It really doesn't matter. And a good quality olive oil. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. My cameraman, alas, is back at work. So I am on my own, but I think we can get a good enough angle. So the most difficult and laborious part of this process is stripping the herbs off the stems. And especially if you've got thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, it's going to take a lot of time. So set up your favorite podcast, maybe watch your favorite YouTube channel, and start stripping the herbs off the stems. So with something like thyme, I like to grab a single stalk like this, and I tend to flip the plant upside down. So you want to go in the opposite direction in which it grows, and then you just pinch and you slide the herbs right off the stem. Because these are not an infused olive oil, you will be cooking with them. You don't want a lot of the woody bits. Nobody wants roasted potatoes with big stems and sticks in it. So take the time to strip those herbs right off. Oregano can be done in the same way, same with rosemary. So again, I'm just flipping that stem in the opposite direction in which it grows, and I'm sliding down just to get those rosemary leaves off. So I will be back once I've done all of this. Today I'm just going to do rosemary and thyme. It's quite miserable outside and I don't feel like going out and gathering my oregano today. So hopefully she survives one more cold night and I'll be able to finish this project up tomorrow. But for the sake of the video, I will get to work and I'll show you what we do next. So here we are almost an hour later. The most labor-intensive one is thyme for sure. Rosemary is quite a bit faster. So what you want to do now, I like to use about a tablespoon of fresh herbs per vessel, for ice cube vessel. That seems to make a really nice little ratio. So you're just going to do a tablespoon of your herbs and you're going to fill up your ice cube trays. I think about, the recipes I do most often and when they call for dried herbs versus fresh. So for example, if a recipe calls for a tablespoon or a teaspoon of dried herbs, you want to use a tablespoon of fresh. So I think about things like stir fries and pasta sauces and marinades and what they use. So this seems to be a good amount for me. So you're just going to quickly, well, doesn't have to be quickly, but you're just going to fill up all your little ice cube trays. And once I get that done, I'll see you guys in the next segment. All right, so I have all of my fresh herbs dried up. As you can see, I wasn't able to quite fill the ice cube tray, but the weather has gotten nastier since I started this, so there's no way I am going outside. So now all you want to do is top up your ice cube trays with olive oil. I suggest if you have, olive oil in a jug that doesn't have a friendly pour, to maybe transfer it to a measuring cup or something, just to make your life a little easier. So I'm just going to fill up each vessel, and you don't want it to overflow. So that's why I say like use a measuring cup or something like that. And for ease of freezing, what I like to do is put them on cookie sheets before I put them in the freezer. That way I know they'll freeze nice and level. And once they're frozen solid, you can pop them out of your ice cube trays and put them into a container of your choice, whatever you like to freeze things in, be that Ziploc bags, glass containers, glass jars. It really doesn't matter because once they're frozen, you don't have to worry about glass breaking in your freezer. So you can do this with any culinary herb of your choice. Like I said, my favorites are oregano, rosemary, and thyme. I have done this with basil too, but I tend to use up most of my basil for making pesto. So I don't do that too much, but you can use sage, marjoram, any of your favorite culinary herbs. This would be excellent. And in terms of cooking, I don't even really thaw them. I just plunk them into the frying pan, the sauce pot, Instant Pot, whatever it is that I have going. That's how I use these. So there you have it, folks, a nice short little video on how to preserve your fresh culinary herbs in olive oil. You can absolutely make a compound butter, and I will link the video that I did for the wild leek butter. You use the exact same process, whether you're doing rosemary, thyme, oregano, it really doesn't matter. So you can do compound butters as well if you prefer to use those as a preserving medium. Personally, I find I go through the olive oil cubes quite a bit more. Just as a friendly reminder, make sure that you're labeling whatever container that you put these into, because 5, 6, 7 months from now, when you're taking out random Ziploc bags or jars, you might not remember which ones are olive oil, rosemary, and thyme. You'll think they'll look pretty distinctive, but once olive oil freezes, it's no longer clear, and you might not be able to tell what's in there. I just wanted to add really quickly that this Thursday, October 28th, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am doing my first online circle. It's going to be in honor of Samhain, which is coming up. So for anybody who's interested in joining me for that, I'll post the link. So if you wanted to purchase tickets for that, you are more than welcome. We'll be doing card pulls and a cool plant journey. So it is definitely going to be a good time. If you have any questions or comments about this preservation method for fresh herbs, feel free to leave those below. And until next time, this is Correne from Spirea Herbs, wishing you health and wellness.